What happens to a teenager after becoming the center of one of the most controversial celebrity trials in history? For years, the name Gavin Arvizo was known around the world. Not because he sought fame, not because he chased the spotlight. The teenager had spent time at Neverland Ranch while battling serious, or would the controversy follow him forever? The aftermath of the trial wasn't easy for anyone involved. As public attention slowly shifted elsewhere, a chance to simply be a young man again. Away from television cameras, away from courtroom sketches, away from reporters asking questions about Michael Jackson. Instead, he showed no signs of disappearing. But Gavin rarely participated. His focus appeared centered elsewhere. Marriage, career, faith, family. The ordinary milestones that many people pursue throughout adulthood. And perhaps that's what makes his story so unusual. Most people who become central figures in major public controversies are remembered primarily for the controversy itself. Their identities become frozen in a specific moment. Their names become linked forever to a single event. But Gavin spent years attempting to break away from that pattern. Whether successful or not depends largely on who is telling the story. For those who only know him from headlines, he may always be connected to the Michael Jackson trial. For those who know him personally, he is something entirely different. A husband, a friend, a colleague, a man who survived childhood cancer, a student who worked multiple jobs while pursuing higher education, a private individual trying to live a normal life after experiencing extraordinarily abnormal circumstances. Perhaps that's why people who know him have often emphasized one particular point. They say Gavin does not want the defining chapter of his life to be something that happened when he was a child. He wants to be judged by the person he became, not simply remembered for the events that thrust him into worldwide attention. Today, more than 2 decades after first appearing alongside Michael Jackson in front of television cameras, Gavin Arvizo remains something of a mystery. There are no regular interviews, no public speaking engagements, no active media presence. No attempts to capitalize on notoriety. Just occasional glimpses of a life lived largely beyond public view. And in an era when so many people share necessity or both, Gavin has not because people stopped asking questions, not because public interest. Sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss our next documentary. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Yet, despite growing up under extraordinary scrutiny, he appears to have spent the years since pursuing something remarkably ordinary. A chance to move forward. A chance to build a future. And perhaps most importantly, a chance to be known for more than a chapter from his past. Because for Gavin Arvizo, the story did not end when the trial ended. It simply continued, away from the cameras. But while Gavin Arvizo was determined to move on, the internet never truly forgot. For years, his name remained permanently attached to one of the most polarizing debates in entertainment. Every time Michael Jackson's legacy returned to the headlines, online discussions would inevitably circle back to the young cancer survivor who once stood at the center of it all. A celebrity. He wasn't an actor. Imagine applying for a job, knowing that your childhood would be one of the first things a potential employer discovered online. Imagine trying to introduce already been examined by millions of strangers. For most people, such circumstances are almost impossible to comprehend. Yet those challenges became part of Gavin's reality. Still, reports suggest that he handled them with remarkable composure. Instead of allowing public perceptions to define him, he continued pursuing his goals. Friends spoke of his work ethic. Professors reportedly remembered a thoughtful student, interested in philosophy, ethics, and history. Coworkers described someone who preferred staying out of the spotlight. And throughout the years, there was little indication that Gavin sought revenge, fame, or financial gain from revisiting the controversy. That fact remains particularly noteworthy because countless opportunities existed. Every major resurgence of interest in Michael Jackson generated renewed curiosity about Gavin's perspective. When anniversaries of the trial arrived, reporters looked for updates. When documentaries aired, journalists searched for comments. When new allegations or defenses emerged, people wanted to hear from those involved. Yet Gavin largely remained absent from the conversation. The silence itself became part of his story. Some interpreted it as a desire for privacy. Others viewed it as evidence of emotional exhaustion after years of scrutiny. Whatever the reason, the result was the same. He stayed away. As years turned into decades, public fascination gradually shifted toward broader questions about Michael Jackson's legacy. Documentaries, books, podcasts, and television specials continued examining the allegations, the investigations, and the court proceedings. According to those who knew him, Gavin balanced academics with multiple jobs, often working in restaurants and landscaping to help support himself. He reportedly earned scholarships, achieved strong grades, participated in student activities, volunteered within his community, and became involved in leadership organizations on campus. For someone whose teenage years had been consumed by legal battles and public attention, college represented something entirely different: normalcy. And perhaps, for the first time in years, anonymity. But education wasn't the only thing changing in Gavin's life. Love entered the picture as well. During his time in Georgia, he met Shelby Lynn Drake, a future teacher who shared his values and faith. Their relationship steadily grew stronger. Friends described them as deeply committed to each other and focused on building a stable future together. Then came a major milestone. In 2013, the couple became engaged. Months later, family and friends gathered at a church outside Atlanta to witness their wedding ceremony. For Gavin, it marked the beginning of an entirely new chapter. Not as a witness, not as an accuser, not as a headline, but as a husband. Yet even on one of the happiest days of his life, the past briefly resurfaced. According to reports from attendees, a Michael Jackson song unexpectedly played during the wedding reception. Many people wondered how Gavin would react, his bride. No dramatic scene, no public statement, no visible anger. Future-in-law. Given his unique experiences with the justice system, some observers found the possibility fitting. Former prosecutors that could have brought attention, and potentially money, through retelling his story. People who knew, after all, very few people enter adulthood carrying a Google search history tied to one of the biggest celebrity trials ever conducted. The documentary reignited global discussions surrounding Jackson's legacy and allegations involving children. Former Jackson defender Wade Robson publicly repeated claims that he had been abused as a child. The film generated enormous media coverage and renewed public debate. Journalists once again searched for people connected to earlier allegations. Naturally, many wondered whether Gavin Arvizo would speak publicly. Would he participate in the documentary? Would he grant interviews? Would he finally tell his side of the story after years of silence? The answer was no. According to family friends, Gavin had no desire to return to the spotlight. He declined interview requests, he ignored media inquiries, and he continued focusing on the life he had spent years building. Even filmmaker Dan Reed reportedly attempted to contact him while researching the documentary. No response ever came. Those close to Gavin explained that he wanted something very simple: a family, a career, a normal life. Not another round of headlines, not another television special, Not another public battle, just peace. Today, Gavin Arvizo remains a deeply private individual. Unlike many people connected to major celebrity scandals, he has largely avoided social media fame, public speaking tours, documentaries, and media appearances. Instead, glimpses into his life occasionally emerge through family photographs and posts shared by relatives. The teenager who once stood at the center of a worldwide media storm is now a husband, a professional, and a man living largely outside public view. Whether people believe one side of the Michael Jackson controversy or another, one fact remains undeniable.